Hello, and I wonder if I'm recording. Hold on. Alrighty. So far, so good. Alright. So, my name's Dante Matthews, and I'm about to. I wanted to talk about some things briefly. Alright. So, first, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel on YouTube is Super Zyrus. That's SuperZyrous. Also, I want you just to merely suggest things like actual topics I could discuss about on YouTube. I'm willing to just talk about anything you want, as long as you want. So, also, if you have some artwork on YouTube that you want me to like suggest people take a look at, I mean, just let me know in the comments section. Also, don't be shy. Add me on YouTube if you like my YouTube videos. I have like plenty of others. I plan on making a lot more in the near future. Um, my name's Dante Levon Matthews. Um, and that's pretty much it for the most part. Also, I wanted to make a suggestion. Would you be against or would you be in support of street lights with advanced surveillance cameras to track down people who commit hit and runs, people who abduct, children, and people who also, trying to think, and also people who, do those shootings and stuff? Now, I'm talking about like surveillance cameras in all the street lights in the United States of America, all the and also trying to think, street lights and traffic cameras. I mean traffic lights, because the way I see it, if like say you're walking down the street and someone tries to mug you, well, if you're by a street light, that street light will have a camera that has face tracking that would be able to look up the person that is trying to rob you, um, and voice recognition just in case they would say something like give me your money or whatever. you know the government would be able to track that person, that will the police force, I mean, they'd be able to track that person down, and not only would they be able to find them, but they would be able to return your valuables that was stolen from you. Or let's say in the example of a hit and run, like let's say there's a car collision but near an intersection or just in front of a traffic light, that or a street light, for example. That would mean that the police officer, the police force, I mean, they would be able to just look up the person via license plate number, and if it's dark, they would be able to use infrared on they would be able to use an infrared lens on the license plate, and they would be able to determine the number of the license plate, and they would be able to even use face tracking to look at the person's face at nighttime and search by face in their criminal database and see if that person has had any other legal problems, essentially, like see if they've been arrested for murder or anything like that. They'd be able to track the person that committed the hit and run and tried to flee the scene, and they would be able to charge them, and if needed be take away their license because it's a hit and run, and people can die in a hit and run. So, I mean, it's very important that we track down those individuals. Also, I would like to see just like better surveillance, because you have to keep in mind the sidewalks are not owned by us. They're not even owned by the residents that live on that street. They're public property. So that would mean, and I mean the way I see it, if there is surveillance cameras in stores and things like that, there should be surveillance cameras on public sidewalks. Keep in mind these cameras would not be able to look into, your front window or anything like that, and it would just essentially be like, they could only monitor the sidewalk, and that would be it. And traffic lights would be able to monitor the street. Essentially, instead of cops having to patrol up and down the streets, this would mean that all cops would have to do is search alleyways and areas of, for example, my city, Cincinnati, that don't have that don't have like street lights near it, or don't have like traffic lights near them. Just those areas, while the traffic lights would monitor the streets and alert police and alert the nearest police force of what is happening and who they need to catch. So let's say, for example, you're committing murder. Well, if you're committing murder, you'd be able to use the actual cameras as an alibi, saying that, see, you were here seen on the sidewalk in front of graders at 5 o'clock, during the daytime. You weren't killing your ex-wife or something. Also, this could mean like for example that this could mean like for example like say you did commit murder and you actually did it, you could act the defense team could actually say like, well, see, this person wasn't at home at like 8 o'clock at night. They were outside driving around whatever street, and your alibi would be useless, and you would probably be convicted guilty because you killed someone. Simple as that. I mean, or for example, like let's say you were doing a drive-by shooting, which is wrong in my opinion, and you actually were like, I'm trying to think of the right word. Okay, let's say you were like doing a drive-by shooting and you killed an innocent kid. Well, not only would the traffic lights be able to find out what your license plates are during the daytime or during the nighttime, but they would be able to find out where you're going, where you're coming from, and things like that, making it easy for cops to catch people who do drive-by shootings. Because I don't know about other places, in the United States, but Cincinnati, Ohio is the most it's the most disgusting city I've ever lived in. Of course, it is the only city I've ever lived in, but that's beside my point. My point is that people die from drive-by shootings in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I just don't like it. I would like, I think that if the government were to install this, like force the cities to install surveillance cameras and traffic lights and street lights, that the city would be a lot safer if the technology was just used appropriately. Because think about it, you'd be able to walk outside with your tablet or with your smartphone and just conversating with people, and or just go out and go to like the club or whatever, and you wouldn't have to worry about people trying to steal your shit from you. You wouldn't have to worry about people trying to rob you, because as long as you're on the sidewalk, you're safe. As long as you're going out and you remain on the sidewalk or in the street area where there are traffic lights and where there are traffic lights and street lights, you would be safe, because those devices would have advanced surveillance cameras and advanced, motion tracking, cameras. Essentially, meaning that let's say you were abducted, or let's say if you were a 6-year-old girl and someone tried to abduct you. Well, this would mean that, let's say they get picked up in a white minivan, because that seems to be the way that it happens on Law and Order and stuff. But let's just say that someone actually did that. Well, not only would the police force know, the name of the traffic lights, the name of the person driving the car, because they would obviously, because unless it's like what is it called? Unless it's like, one of those glasses to windows where it's not exactly see-through clear. I mean, like it has like a dark tinted window. Unless it's like one of those, but pretty much the camera would be able to see through that, except for like tinted windows. But this would mean the cops would be able to see the person, see where they're going, and things like that. And even if they can't see who was in the vehicle, they would be able to know. They would be able to use motion tracking to know how fast they're going, and they would be able to, because of the motion of the object, I mean, and they would be able to know where they're going based off of combining Google Earth with these types of surveillance cameras. They would be able to track down where they're going, and they would be able to catch them. The goods would outweigh the risk in this type of situation, and that's my point. Also, you have to keep in mind that a lot of kids walk around in Cincinnati late at night sometimes, because when there's no school and it's the summertime, that's the perfect time for teenagers to go out and, just do whatever the hell they want. So we really need to monitor where they're going and who they're going with, just, for safety concerns. Because I know when I was a teenager, like my mom, she didn't want me going late out at nights because it was dangerous. And it still is dangerous going late out at nights. I mean, I purposely stay within North College Hill, but it's still very dangerous. Even in North College Hill, it's getting to be more dangerous in North College Hill. So I mean, like, it would just be a big improvement to not just Ohio, but the entire United States if we had this technology in, you know, in the street lights and in the traffic lights. Because there are traffic lights everywhere, there are street lights everywhere except for country areas. I mean, those would be like the only places for real. And even then, they could always just install street lights in the country areas where, the streets are really dark. That would be an improvement to drivers and that would be an improvement to just everyone because street lights allow for you to see at dark at nighttime. And the better the street lights, the better it is for drivers to be able to see. Also, let's say someone gets killed in a hit and run, you would be able to track down who's the person that ran away. You get what I'm saying? Well, anyways, tell me what you think about this video. Like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, because I'm really broke. And also, I would say just, be safe and be cautious because I'm tired of seeing people get killed because of reckless, stupid people that want to rob people and things like that. So, I mean, be safe, God bless, and goodbye.